Hello, everyone, and welcome to Up Supercast, the only podcast on the internet where everyone that's on it would rather be playing Smash right now. I'm your host, Will, and joining me today, Brandon.
Smash Brothers is out. Woo!
Noah.
Truer words have never been spoken.
Saf.
Where's Metroid?
Ills.
Yeah, I think we'd all rather be playing Smash.
And Moosemill.
I don't really think we're the only podcast. I bet there's a lot of podcasts right
Nope.
now.
Yeah.
Nope.
We'd rather be playing Smash than recording today.
Moosemill did not. We have like 20 different lanes at this point. You cannot say on air ruin the thing.
I'm
This
sorry.
is the only avenue we have.
I mean, every other time you said it was true. Every other time you said we were the only podcast who whatever, it was the truth. But this time I'm not so sure.
Wow.
I'm be honest.
I'm waiting for the time where he goes, and we're the only podcast, and then he doesn't say anything after. 'Cause we
I already
chose
did
all the other ones.
that. I already did that. Is the fun thing. I did that at episode 10.
Did you do that already?
I did already.
I didn't even
That's the
catch
bad
that.
news.
Well,
yeah.
Okay.
It must not have been funny when you
That
did it.
does
wasn't,
ring a bell.
It doesn't. It's fine. It's fine. I get it. We all go on autopilot. So, boys, it's Smash Week, obviously. We even recorded later than normal for the Game Awards partially, but just because, heck, man, we want to play Smash. So, we're going to talk more about it next week as we have more time, but early impressions, how do we feel about it?
Amazing.
I can't stop playing. I have a problem. The first
Yeah,
24
Yeah,
hours.
me and Brandon literally played all day. As soon as we got back from work, we were just fucking glued to the TV
Yeah,
until
my thumb hurts a lot, but I'm very.
my head hurts, but I don't care.
I looked at my playtime. Cause you could check in the records, and it unlocked at 11 p.m. Thursday night. By 11 p.m. Friday night, 24 hours in, I had played 16 hours of the game, and it's like, oh,
Well,
oh,
that's
Lord.
literally everything that you
mercy.
did.
That's a
That's
bad.
a
That's
frightening
fun.
figure.
Yeah.
So I guess the thumbs up, tentatively, who knows? Maybe it'll all fall apart. It won't fall apart. We all like Smash, duh.
Yeah.
But there's now other things to look forward to in Smash Brothers. Down the line, we had the Game Awards this week. We didn't host the Game Awards, but Jeff Keighley did. We watched.
Maybe
Jeff Keighley, friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod, Jeff Keighley. Jay Keels, and he was at the Game Awards. We got a Smash announcement.
Doesn't his name start
but-
with a G?
It's fine.
It does start with a G.
It does start with a G. But we got Joker in Smash Brothers. Joker, you might say, is that from Batman? No, it's Joker from Persona 5. This is crazy. This is the first DLC pack of the Fighters pack. So we have Piranha Plant, and then we'll have Joker as the first paid fighter, I guess you could say.
I love it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who the fuck Joker is, or I never play. I know Persona 5 what it is, but I never played it, so I don't really know who Joker is. But I love the fact that they're pulling these really not obscure characters, but obscure to Nintendo, I guess.
Sure.
It's a great crossover. I think, I have no idea what to expect. I don't know what kind of fight he's going to be, but I love the idea that he's going to be included.
Man, this is just Challenger Pack 1. Like, oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of the gate, they're already throwing any expectation we possibly could have had, And Joker, Persona 5 is a great game. Joker is just a really cool design. He very I love his design, love his character. So I'm pretty happy about this. Pretty excited to see him in Smash. And Persona music is gonna be in Smash Brothers, guys. Oh
Yeah.
goodness!
I know.
It's gonna be great.
I was-
I hope they pull from other Persona games too, because oh man, it's gonna be great.
Yeah. Because that's the thing I was saying was the other day was that so much of the best parts of Persona 5 are the presentation and the aesthetic and the style and the music and all of that, and all that stuff is stuff that can translate to Smash in a clear, direct way, right? You just get to have, even just the announcement trailer itself, Persona 5 has this style that the first time you see the red screen go up, I was like, oh, this is Persona. The fun thing though is I think this is the first Smash trailer where because we've had surprise character things before. I saw a few people call Cloud before they showed Final Fantasy VII Cross Smash. This is the first time where literally I did not see a single person go, "Oh, this is Smash," until he flips the envelope around and you see the logo, right?
Yeah.
Which Which is
yeah,
cool for
it
something.
was such a wild announcement because like we saw the red title screen, right, and then the take your hearts, and then Joker's kind of running, and like it was, you could tell it was the last reveal before the Game Awards ended, right? Because they were doing Goaty right after, and I was like, Persona, but like, what could it be? And like, we were in a call, me and Will were with some other friends, and they were like, oh, this is the Persona dance game, and in my head I was like, no, that doesn't make sense. Like, they're not gonna end the Game Awards on a dancing game. Is this like a Persona 5 Switch port? And like, before the envelope flips over, you just see this like white rectangle. So I was like, oh, it's the Switch screen. Like, Persona 5's maybe coming to Switch? Like, maybe that's the thing? And then he flips it over and it's Smash. I'm like, what? Like, that thought did not come into my head until I saw the Smash logo. I did not expect that to be a Smash trailer. It was insane.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll get more gameplay down the line, obviously, and we'll get time frames to release and all that other stuff. But I thought it was also, like, I felt kind of dumb when it happened after, because I was like, oh, of course they'll have something for Smash at the Game Awards, so Reggie can be on stage and say, get the Fighter's Pass, it's out in 10 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, alright, that's fair.
Yeah, I don't know how we didn't see that coming, honestly. Like, I'm not Joker, but just the fact that they did something for Smash Brothers at the Game Awards when it was launching that night. Like, come on, how do we not?
I mean, they had all those.
Well,
cool
we were
commercials.
kind of expecting something related to Smash, but having Joker just appear there is like, you can't connect the two.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, it's not going to be Smash. It's going to be something else. We're like, nope.
Nobody in a million years would have predicted it. But you did have Smash commercials,
Yeah, we did
I
have
thought
Smash
were
commercials
fine.
throughout the night. So
Yeah.
I was like, but like, I guess
Like-
it makes sense though. Like, hey, like, to really bring it home, like right before the game launches,
Yeah.
announce the first DLC character.
Those
It's
commercials were really cool too. I liked, having the announcer there, saying, play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate in a few hours.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost here. Like he kept reminding us that, hey, as soon as this is over, go play Smash.
Yeah.
Which is, and it's fun too because Joker is voiced by Xander Mobus, who is also the announcer, and so you're like, oh, now the announcer is going to announce himself. How exciting!
That is pretty cool. That's pretty.
But there was other things at the Game Awards, obviously. The thing was like 3.5 hours, so hopefully there was. I guess we can briefly mention, we're not going to talk too much about the awards themselves, but Red Dead and God of War had a good night. Hard to believe, I know.
God of War won the
God of War won the big one.
big
and,
one.
and so good for it. Corey Balrog seems like a super nice guy. Just every time that guy is on screen, I'm like, oh, you seem like a sweetheart. But the Game Awards is a weird thing now because it's half awards, half like a weird E3 conference in December. And so there's a couple games that we can hit on along the way. A game that the weirdest thing in the world, we did not see the Square Enix Avengers game like we thought maybe because the Russo brothers were there. We did see another Marvel game.
Yes.
Which is Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, published by Nintendo, exclusive to the Switch, made by Team Ninja.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know, that's such a wild thing.
It's-
That's insane.
all these things connecting makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
No,
Completely out of
I'm in,
left
but I'm
field.
totally in.
Oh, I'm so in. I'm absolutely in. I
Yeah.
love Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I only played the first one, but I did love that game.
Yeah.
I remember playing the
I
I
first
don't remember
two.
if I played the second one or not.
Yeah. I played the first two. I think the second one was Civil War.
The second one was Civil War.
Yeah, but... oh my
But
God.
yeah, Team Ninja developing is kind of wild, but like also Nintendo publishing is even crazy. I can't believe Nintendo is publishing Ultimate Alliance 3. Like a Marvel game, I get it, but the
Yeah.
fact that they're even like continuing this series that already kind of happened, it's so weird. Like everything about this is
I mean, it's been like
Weird.
7 years or so since the last one, like...
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So it's going to be weird to see what is new and different and versus how much they keep the same with it.
I mean, the
But it's
perspective is
also weird
definitely
'cause-
different, right? Because it's like
Yeah.
behind the back kind of deal.
Yeah. Where the old games were isometric and were more in the style of like, like zombies. I guess zombies ate my neighbors. So I don't know why that's the first thing that came to my head.
I would say like
over the head.
Diablo, kind of.
Diablo, that's much better, thank you.
Zombies.
Yeah, so like, but I was like, whoa, that's a weird announcement. Just like every part of that sentence, it gets weirder and weirder with all these people
Yeah.
interacting. Team Ninja, they also have Neo 2 going on right now, so I guess they've got multiple things going on,
The
but
busy boys.
busy boys. Other things, we mentioned Obsidian would announce their game. We got it. It's the Outer Worlds, which is very clearly in the vein of like Fallout New Vegas, and they make a point of looking at, look at all the dialogue options, look at all the different choices you can make. Like, there's these two people fighting, you have to kill one of them, and then in the trailer you shoot one of them, and she's like, you could have just not shot either of them, you know that, right? And you're like, oh, that's a cute little trailer bit. The interesting thing to me is, sorry, one last thing, is that Microsoft famously, just last month, announced they were buying Obsidian. This is not Xbox exclusive or PC exclusive. It's gonna be on PS4 as well.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
That's
because
really
like,
weird.
because Obsidian was already contracted to this project
already,
before Microsoft
Yeah.
bought them out, and Microsoft's not gonna be like, hey, cancel your projects. You know, they're still keeping
yeah.
it. I think that's the case with In Exile too, where they bought In Exile, but like Wasteland 3 is still coming. So after Wasteland 3, they'll transition, I'm sure, into exclusivity, just like Obsidian. After this game will transition into Microsoft, because Microsoft will be their de facto publisher after that. I think Take-Two is publishing this one, right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty sure they're publishing.
Yeah. So this game is basically New Vegas 2, right? Like that's what I'm seeing everyone say. It's very pretty. It is very pretty though. I have to say.
It's New Vegas too, but it also the humor of it reminds me of Borderlands. Like
Yeah, and also like the space aesthetic. Yeah.
Yeah, some of the aesthetic. It looks like Borderlands to me.
yeah,
I thought Borderlands more than I thought Fallout as well.
yeah.
I also
Which is
do
cool,
like.
'cause I like Borderlands.
Yeah. I do like also in the trailer how they have from the original creators of Fallout, like twisting the knife a little bit in Bethesda.
They deserve it. Fuck them.
Yes.
Yes.
We also have Crash Team Racing, nitro fueled, got announced. You know.
Yes.
Yay!
I love Crash Team Racing. All right, this is like
Yeah, it was awesome.
you know, one of my go-to games on the PS1. I'm gonna say something very inflammatory, but it's the best Naughty Dog game. All right.
Oh,
You're
there.
a fucking
I
madman.
thought you
I
were
mean,
gonna say that
that's
it was
better-
better than Mario Kart 64. I was like, I'll
Yeah,
but
I was
God-
gonna say. I'm glad you said that, even though it's still crazy. But I thought you were gonna say it's the best kart racing game of all time, and I was gonna be like, "Whoa, motherfucker, hold on!"
I'd kick him out of the call real fast.
I'm taking it in steps, you know.
Yeah,
I had to
slowly
bring
he
something
will
new
reveal
to
his
the table.
insanity.
You know, everyone always talks about how it's better than Mario Kart 64, but
I mean,
I'm
is
here
it a new
talking about how
opinion
it's.
Is it new that you have a shitty opinion?
Hold on. But genuinely though, this game is great. Very happy to see it. It looks gorgeous. Once again, like I think they have a different team working on it this time though. I think it's Beanox, which
Yes.
yeah. So still though, it looks
And they worked on
incredible.
Crash games back in like the 2010 days. They also worked on Spider-Man games back in the 360 era.
They also did like a Transformers game, right? A pretty well received one. Not the platinum one,
Yeah.
obviously, but like the one before that. Like I think people still liked that one, as far as I know. But it's cool to see this game. You know, and with online play, that's gonna be great. Noah, I cannot wait to play with you.
It's gonna be
And,
so much fun.
You can play it on PS4, Xbox One, or Switch, which is a thing that people were wondering because there's weird specific Sony rights that come with Crash Team Racing versus the other Crash games. But no, it's everywhere, baby.
Wait,
Is
there's no
that
exclusive
crossplay?
years or anything?
No
like that?
crossplay though.
No
As far as
crossplay.
we know.
Uh,
Lame.
Wait, so
Yeah.
is it not? Is it just gonna come out all at the same time? No exclusivity for?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
There's no timed exclusivity. It's just all at the same time. Which you have to imagine if they announce Crash already, like Spyro has to be coming to Switch eventually, right? Like
Eventually. So,
I hope so.
we also got another one that surprised me with the platforms it was on. Mortal Kombat 11.
I know. What the hell?
That's gonna be on PS4, Xbox One, but also Switch. Which is crazy because like I remember someone in the call I was with Moose was like, "You think this is coming to Switch?" And we were like, "Probably
we
not."
laughed.
We laughed. We're like, "No, way, dude."
let's not
Downplay our idiocy. We
Downplay-
were like,
yeah.
"No way, dude." And
Yeah,
then no,
we-
actually,
Yeah,
exactly. it's
I
coming to
missed
Switch.
that part of the news. So when I woke up this morning, I saw I was on YouTube and I saw subscriptions. I was like, Mortal Kombat 11 Switch announcement. I was like, what? That can't be right.
Yeah.
And I saw it. I was like, oh damn.
I
So,
think
I
so.
don't-
Like Switch third-party sport, it's getting pretty good. You know,
Yeah,
I
it's
think
pretty solid.
it genuinely. I think the best the Nintendo system has had since the Super Nintendo at this point, right? Because we're seeing franchises that, quite
Whoa.
frankly, have never been on Nintendo platforms come on board. So it's really cool to see.
Wouldn't the
Mortal
best be
Kombat.
Wii?
Well, hey, yeah, Mortal
I mean,
Kombat was
you're
on the Wii.
technically right. It had a lot of third-party support.
That was such a dumb statement.
No,
I
but
mean-
But
it's
like,
a different kind of third-party support, though.
Yeah.
You know, we had a lot of like
Shovelware.
carnival games.
Didn't
and
we have Manhunt too?
It had
Yeah, and it was-
weird
and it was
games,
a
but
weird-
it didn't have
yeah.
like the same ports that 360
and it was also like
PS3 would get.
janky
you know?
versions, right? Like
Yeah.
it was like, hey, there's the SD versus the HD version. You're sort of like, I don't.
Well, yeah, but also, I mean, to be fair, the Switch is getting kind of janky versions.
Well, I think it's a little different, right?
But less bad than you would think.
Because first of all, like a lot of these
So-
ports are way better than you would think they are, right? And second, like for once, there's actually a reason to get on a Nintendo system, right? Because before it's like, okay, there's these two.
What?
There's
What does
one
that mean?
game.
Let him finish.
No, let me tell you. Because before, if there was a multi-platform game, say on Wii U versus PS4, right? It's just the Wii U version is just way worse. There's no redeeming feature on the Wii U, right? Whereas the Switch, it has worse performance, but you're trading off portability for it. There's actually you get something for the trade-off,
but-
you know, which is not something previously you would have on a Nintendo system. There wasn't
And the
a real
differences
reason.
aren't as glaring or
They're
like
not.
obvious
No,
as it
you're
would
right,
be
but
from
they're
PS.
they're not as
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, but I'm saying like you get something. There's a
Um,
trade-off here versus before it was just straight up
Sure.
inferior. You know.
Yeah.
Although looking
Uh,
at the eShop, I want to die when I see how bad some of the games are there, man. There's this one I saw today called Basketball. The graphics couldn't even hold up on PS fucking 2, man. I was like, why does this
Put it in
exist?
there.
Why?
Well, that's a whole nother
We
issue.
need quality control, please.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before, but fuck,
Yeah.
dude.
But
We need
I-
better menus for sure.
a thing I want to specifically shout out Mortal Kombat though is coming April 23rd. That's pretty fast. 4 months.
That's a quick turnaround.
Yeah, I thought that
Real
was
quick.
weird too. Just really
Yeah.
quick.
And the other one is another one that's coming sooner than you would think. It got leaked a little bit beforehand, but there's the new Far Cry, New Dawn. It's like a post-apocalyptic game coming in February. So that's 2 months from announcement to release, which is pretty crazy.
That's insane. I wonder what the price is. I wonder if they're gonna price it fully at 60 or if it's gonna be like
Yeah, that makes me wonder. Like, is it really a full-fledged game, or is it just kind of like a side thing, like a
I mean,
kind of
definitely
like a
in the vein of
lengthy
at least
DLC expansion, but
Right,
actually
like,
sold off.
like
a
more
kinda
like-
Dragon.
the Uncharted, whatever
Lost
it was.
Legacy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that.
Or like Far Cry Blood Dragon or whatever.
Right.
Though that was
But
straight up DLC, if I
that was-
recall, right?
Well,
Yeah.
no, it was a standalone.
It became
but-
standalone, yeah,
Oh,
but
okay.
it was priced at like $20 rather than it, you know.
Okay,
like-
I just fact checked and it is $40, just like Uncharted
40
Lost
US dollars.
Legacy.
Okay.
Okay,
They're
so it's
putting out
kind
40.
of.
That's fair.
I really like the aesthetic of it. I'm not gonna lie, the pink and purple
I
do a
do
lot
too.
for me. So
Yeah.
of all the AAA games, this might be the one I pick up. I don't know. We'll see.
Also, in continuing the tradition of coming out sooner than you would think, so Supergiant Games, they did Bastion, they did Transistor, they did
course.
Pyre last year. They announced a new game, Hades, which, like all their games, is gorgeous. You're just like, dang, how are they so good at this? But it was announced at the Game Awards. You can now get it in early access on the Epic Game Store, which we may mention more later. But that was wild because I was like, oh, this looks great. When am I gonna play it? And it's like, well, you could play it right now. And it looks, from impressions, it seems relatively finished. It's not like it's a broken mess of a game. It's just tightening, different gameplay elements basically. So that's cool.
Right, it does really look gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking forward to play it when it's done because I'm not gonna play it now. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Also, Hello Games did their first post No Man's Sky announced game, and it looks like something they should be doing probably, which is The Last Campfire. You play as these little tiny guys, look kind of like Magalore from Kirby, if you know who that is. But it is a smaller scale game. They said it's not going to be more than probably 10 hours. It won't be super expensive. But you're like, oh, this makes more sense for a team of like 15 people versus a game that's supposed to be infinitely big. So hopefully that'll end up good in the long run. That was announced. Also, a few other things, but I sort of want to transition. Oh, I'm sorry. We got the weirdest tease for what is probably Dragon Age 4, but they didn't call it Dragon Age 4. in the trailer, but then the YouTube title is named Dragon Age Official Teaser. So I don't know why they weren't willing to just call it Dragon Age in the trailer, but this was like reported on as being at the Game Awards before. They said it is at minimum 3 years off, so don't hold your breath, you'll end up dead.
Oh boy. Okay.
Announcing this game is so weird. I think they want to make it clear that, hey, look, Anthem, it's not the end of BioWare. But also, if Anthem fails, BioWare's probably being shut down. So I don't know. This game being so far off, and EA is no stranger to canceling games. You know what I mean? That's slightly concerning. It's cool that they're saying that this is happening, but we know nothing about it. There's a lot that could happen in the time it's gonna release. Obviously a next gen game, but also just weird teaser, right? Just they ended it with a hashtag without telling us it was Dragon Age. You had to have either heard the leaks or look online later to know it was Dragon Age. So just weird teaser, really weird teaser.
Because there was
it's called The Dreadwolf Rises, right?
Yeah, that's the hashtag they gave us, right?
Yeah.
We don't know if that'll be the subtitle or not. And the thing is too, there wasn't. I mean, maybe there is for the hardcore Dragon Age fans, but I didn't see anything in that game that if you didn't show put BioWare at the front of it, I wouldn't have known it was Dragon Age. There's no iconic character to let you clue you in to where you don't need the title.
It was a very short clip. There was nothing. It was pretty generic to me. I don't know.
Yeah. And then also, we got a Stranger Things video game that looks really neat. I was like, oh.
Yeah. See, that's what looks like Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
You're right. 16-bit co-op. And it's Stranger Things 3 is what it's called. I don't know if it's supposed to tie into season 3 or not.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but it's, that's cool. I don't know. I imagine that'll probably come out relatively close to when season 3 comes out. So, if you're a fan of Stranger Things, this is also because so much of it is steeped in nostalgia and in look at all this stuff in the 80s that you remember in the 90s, and making a retro pixel style game makes sense for an IP like that. Even more so.
Yeah, it's a good tie-in. Very very interesting tie-in.
Yeah. And then that's that's pretty much the big stuff. There was PUBG got a new map, Fortnite has a new thing. If you want to look at that,
there's a new car in Rocket League.
There's a new car in Rocket League. Sonic Fox is very good.
Sorry.
Ashen? Yeah.
Dark Stars type game coming out. Or,
and the
got
thing
released,
that's cool
right? Yeah.
It got released.
Yeah, it just got released already.
On the Epic Game Store, which is, I guess, that's a perfect transition. Because we can get into that going with all of this.
I also wanted to shout out the Pathless. It looks pretty fucking sweet.
Extremely thank you for doing that. That also looks cool.
The Pathless looks great, yes. And then also the very first game they showed in the pre-show, it was I don't remember what it's called, but it was it had a very crazy aesthetic. It was about pop. Do you remember what it's called?
It's I forget.
Is it the one on the motorcycles?
Yes.
Yeah, that looked cool.
That looked really cool. Nintendo Switch exclusive, so
Of course.
Was it?
Yeah, it is.
I think it was.
Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Pop album video game is how it self-describes it.
Actually, that game looks really neat. I want to play it.
And Psychonauts 2.
Also looks good. Yeah,
baby.
There was a lot. But so earlier in the week, flashback, Steam goes on the internet and says, "Hey guys, we're changing the way that we do cuts for our online store, because for every online marketplace, the person who owns it gets a cut of every sale, and it's 70-30 pretty much universally for a long time. App Store, every single console manufacturer, Steam is 70-30 split. They said, hey, we're changing it. We are making it to where now if you pass, let me get the exact numbers. If you pass a certain amount, you get a different cut for every sale after it. And so essentially it's a thing that I'm not going to get too into the details of, but it was it came weird and out of nowhere. And then it made sense a couple of days later when Epic made an announcement, hey, we're launching a store. Part of our whole pitch for this is that instead of it being the 70-30 cut, the lowest that Valve gets in terms of their own cut is 20-80. Epic is like, hey, the developers will get 88% of all profits. We only take a 12% cut. which is, if you compare to the 30 that was the
It's
norm
insane.
a week before, is insane.
Yeah, 8812, and not only that, if you use Unreal Engine 4, you already have to take they take like a 5% cut or something, right? They will not
Yeah.
take the
Yeah.
Unreal Engine cut. That'll be included in the 12% if your game is on Unreal Engine. So like regardless of what engine you're using, it'll Epic will only take 12%, which is very cool of Epic to do.
And
Yeah.
they also, last year, they changed it to where licensing Unreal 4 is way cheaper than it used to be. So essentially, you don't have to pay to develop on it for if you put it on the Epic Game Store now, essentially.
It's an interesting strategy because they're using like all the clout that they've gotten from Fortnite to like launch this whole store, and they're being really aggressive about the pricing. So it seems pretty cool.
And I mean, and they said we can do this because Fortnite is so successful right now. It gave us the ability to sort of launch in this way. Like you mentioned, Ashen was on Steam. It got pulled from Steam and is now on the Epic Game Store.
Oh my god, that's
Oof.
Yeah. And
that's
so
hard.
you're like, ooh, and I mean, we talked before about Discord in their own store marketplace, and Discord's strongest thing is that it has a ton of users, but Epic has they announced last month they have 200 million accounts already registered, from Fortnite, basically. So it's a big deal. But part of it that's also crazy is that we talk a lot about subscription services on here as well, right? Games with Gold, PS Plus, Game Pass. They're just giving away a free game every 2 weeks on Epic Game Store. There's no subscription. Right now, you can get Subnautica for
What?
free.
I didn't even catch that part, but
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
That's
Subnautica.
cool.
Yeah, Subnautica came out earlier this year. It's free now on the Epic Game Store if you go get it.
That's incredibly aggressive. God damn.
Yes.
They're going hard out the gate.
We talked about Discord a little bit, but I think Epic is actually this. We didn't even realize it, but they're the real ones who can really compete with Valve, huh? Because they're already in this space. They already have contact with a bunch of developers because so many people use Unreal, And then just the reach that Fortnite has, it's crazy. And it's so cool that they're being so aggressive with this. And they flat out said, because like earlier this year they did some things too, right? I think Will had mentioned they cut down licensing fees. And I think they straight up said we're making so much money with Fortnite that like we don't need to take as much from like Unreal, stuff like that. Like it's kind of funny to see them be so open about that, like
Yeah.
like hey, we are making so much money that we don't care.
It's just, and it's wild to think that they're making so much on a game that is free to play.
Oh yeah. But it's like the world's biggest game right now, right? And it's like those skins and those emotes, they make a lot of money. It's cool to see. I hope, because they said that this is gonna be their goal too. Is they wanna because right now it's a soft launch, and it's just like a game store. But I think they're slowly, probably actually pretty quickly. Epic is pretty, at least if we've seen in Fortnite, very quick to update things, right?
Yeah.
They want to develop a feature set for the Epic Games launcher too that will rival Steam. So, like, Steam is gonna have an actual competitor, I think, with the games.
I know, that's what I like about this whole thing, is that Steam is gonna have to step up their game if they want to keep up.
Yeah.
Big time, yeah. Because I think it is fair to say Steam does, even though like I have a lot of problems with Steam, but it does have a rich feature set that no other launcher has. Right?
Yeah, Steam itself is solid. Like, it's always been solid for like as long as it's been up. So, like, but they have not pushed themselves to get better in any way.
They've gotten complacent, Like the launcher itself can be a little slow these days. Like there's a lot of things with Steam, and it's like.
But they have no, like, that's the thing, they have no reason to try and better themselves.
Yeah.
But now with Epic Games becoming a thing, they're gonna have to, otherwise they might lose a lot of steam.
Now they're finally gonna make Half-Life 3.
I mean, hell, this might actually push them to make exclusive games again, because it's like, hey,
Half-Life 3.
What better? I mean, honestly, though, what better way to get your launcher, people using your launcher, than having your own games, right? Like, I think that's gonna be a big thing. So,
Like Half-Life 3.
Like Half-Life 3.
I mean, I was trying to think of the last time that like Valve made a play that was a response to a competitor, like the thing they announced this week, and it's like I can't think of it. I don't know the last time that they felt reactionary, and so it'll be an interesting time, because there's, I think, I think they in their own statement, Valve mentioned that like online store places are now a $25 like $1 billion industry yearly or whatever, right? Like
Mhm.
on PC, and you're like, well, I mean, no wonder people want to cut. You know, like there's it'll be interesting to see where it goes forward, because then you also have like Origin and all those other things happening from the
Origin.
individual
It-
publishers.
It's
What is
very
it?
cool too, though,
Yeah.
because I think that 88% cut, right, that you're getting rather than the usual 70, it kind of also disincentivizes, like, say, a Bethesda from using their own launcher, because it's like 12% cut is actually not that bad, you know, not to the point where it's like, yeah, well, maybe let's just do our own thing. I don't think they would mind putting it on the Epic Game Store, right? Because
Yeah.
that cut is so small, it really is. It's very, very, very interesting to see. I hope this works out for Epic, and I hope I hope Steam gets better as a result as well. You know.
Yeah,
I
I
because
mean, competition can only help us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Only help
Absolutely.
the consumer.
And it's great to see it helping the developers too. That is something I didn't even like think about, you know. But like, I'm very happy to see like developers getting a bigger cut. I don't know if you wanted to talk about the games that were on there, but they got Journey, which is
which is crazy. That was a Game Awards announcement. You're right. Thank you for remembering.
PlayStation. That game was PlayStation exclusive for the last 10? I mean, like 6 years now, and for it to finally come to another platform and be exclusive on Epic Games, that's a pretty big get. And that's just one of many that they have. The soft launch they have seems to be a very strong curated list. Very very good gets from Epic. So
yeah. And I think that like there was already sort of signs like on the Steam front, like Call of Duty wasn't on Steam this year, and you're like, oh, that's weird. It's crazy that the biggest game that came out this year just wasn't on Steam. You know, like Fallout skipped it. Obviously, Fallout is what it is. But like like there was a lot of big AAA games that are now saying, I'm not going to be on Steam, and they might be on Epic now because of the cut difference. So, there's a lot going on here. We'll see how it goes. We could look back in a year and say, remember when they tried that weird thing and nothing came of it? Or it could be a big, shift in the market, because Steam has had a monopoly sort of in this space for a long time in a way that's almost abnormal when you look at, like, how this stuff generally goes down.
Yeah, it all depends on if they can convert those Fortnite users into, people who want to use their game store.
Yeah. So we'll see. But that is future news. Now we are here to live in the here and now by turning our eyes towards the list. Last week, Muzamil brought Splatoon 2, got high on the list. Exciting stuff. So this week, Saphir, you are up, my dude.
Indeed. I want to put Xenoblade Chronicles, the first one, on the list.
Oh, mother.
Yay!
It's a long time coming.
This is real brutal.
Saf.
Yes. What is Xenoblade Chronicles, I hear you ask?
It's real good.
It's amazing.
What is Xenoblade Chronicles? Thank you.
Xenoblade Chronicles RPG came out on the Wii. Basically a story about this guy who wants to... Well, it's two warring titans fight each other, kill each other, and then colonies build on those two titans, and it's an RPG based around that setting, which is really, really cool. And a lot about this game was great and revolutionary. Well, kind of revolutionary. Like, it was an open world RPG, which has not seen much play in a lot of games during that era of PlayStation 360 and Wii. It's a game that was had an amazing story, had an amazing cast of characters, all voice acting from the UK as well, which was incredible. And a lot of it was fun. Like, I played this game 2 times now already. First time I played it once, I didn't really get it. It was quite hard to get into, and I beat it. And then second time, I actually just wanted to get back into it and like figure that shit out. And then I just 100% that game, did all the side quests, did all the found all the secret areas and all that jazz, and it was a fantastic experience, especially on the second playthrough. Like, there are moments in this game where it always brings out some weird emotion from me, which it was hard to experience in other games during that era. Like, I never felt... It was very rare to feel those feelings for other RPGs that I did for this one. Like, the first moment you go through Gaur Plains, and you see that open vastness of that field and the music that just kicks in. That was fantastic. I could not believe it. And then there was this another moment which I don't think I don't know if other people have felt it, but it felt weird to me, where I went through to like a couple of areas, went to the different place. I was like a good few hours into that game, and at one point in my time, I decided to go back to the first area, to Colony 9, and as soon as the theme played for that village, there was a strong sense of nostalgia that I felt that I never really experienced at all. And it was just all in that same playthrough, which was weird. Like, normally I would expect that from games like fucking that I played years ago. It's like, oh, that felt so good. But it was just in that one little time bubble. It was an amazing experience. I love that game so much. Although there are...
Oh, yeah, it's an amazing game. I loved it too.
That game, like, opens up almost instantaneously. Like, from the get, you're like, all right, this is this huge world, fucking go. And it's like you can go anywhere in like that original area, and then as soon as the rest of the world opens up, holy shit, like every area is enormous. It's so fucking great. And there's like almost no loading times inside. There's like no loading times inside the areas.
Yeah, there is no loading times.
Yeah.
It's
only when you transition.
It's so smooth. Into the combat, into the open world exploration, everything is just fucking instant. It's great.
And the music is fucking fantastic.
The music is phenomenal.
Yeah. It's like, Seth, I mean, you sort of touched on it there, but like this, it also came out in a time where like JRPGs as a genre was sort of like trying to find their identity in an HD era, you know? Like it's famously Square's like, we don't know how to do HD towns. We don't know how to make these big open world games like we used to. And then Xenoblade's like, what's up? We're on the Wii and we're kicking everybody, you know, just like we don't care. We're making these huge environments, we're making these lavish towns where, you know, they give you these graphs of how all these characters are interconnected in each like individual village.
Oh yeah.
You know, like you said, and it's that thing that like when you talk about going back to Colony 9 after going through the game, it's one of my favorite parts of an RPG is like the journey you feel like you can go on. And sort of like, and when you return back to where you were and you think like, oh, look how different everything is, like how much more I know, how much I've experienced than going back to this first area, it can make you like feel this weird, almost nostalgia. And it's the sign for me of like a game that really, it sucked me in a way that few games can whenever I do feel that way.
And it has really, really strong emotional beats. You were right, Saf. Like, the first time you meet Zanza, or like just the character interactions, anything with Fiora, it's like amazing. Like that game really kind of got to me. Like, a lot of games don't get to me, but that game really did. And it's really surprising in that, not just like how expansive the world is, which can get like really, really surprising later on, but like just how well like all the characters interact and like how you feel for them.
Especially like individual character interactions, like depending on what different party member you have in your main party, like have different interactions, but they're not like just generic, oh good job, whatever, like insert name here, or you know, but they like actually have to do with the character themselves. Like, for example, like my favorite fucking character of all time, fucking Ryan. I love him so much. And like the interactions that every character has with them are just so silly and hilarious. I love it so much.
My favorite one
it
is
has
just...
really, really memorable characters.
Yeah,
very memorable, yes.
My favorite one is just Ryan. It's like, you can't spell rainbow without Ryan. And then somebody go like, wait,
what a bunch of jokers.
I mean, a bunch of his lines became a meme because I think he is just so memorable, right? Like, that's part of it. And the voice acting is really good. Like, it holds up. There's no one, I think, in the cast I look and say, you did a bad job. Like, everyone's just sort of, everybody. They all put in good performances.
That game's fantastic. Holy shit. I don't know where to put this thing.
Yeah, Saf,
it's going high. It's going high, boy.
I want to start off at number 10 and see where we go from there.
Saf,
higher.
I want to hire.
Higher, way higher.
Bump it up.
Okay. Where do you want to hire?
I never played this.
Higher than Splatoon 2?
So I do have, like, I didn't say anything because I don't have, like, the experience that you guys do.
All right.
I tried to start playing this game at a time in my life where my work hours were absolutely insane, and I was also very depressed. So I didn't have time to really play this game. I started playing it. I played maybe 2 hours, and I said, this game's cool, but I don't have time for this shit.
Yeah.
And and I basically hated my life at that point. So I never got to play it.
Mhm.
So, and then I never went back. I do own it, maybe someday,
Mm-hmm.
but that's my experience with the game. I don't really have a lot of, obviously my opinion doesn't really hold a lot of clout here.
You may need to be the
Unfortunately.
tiebreaker. Who knows? So Saf, I mean Noah, where are you looking at it then? If you want it higher,
Fucking shit. Holy
That's battling with Red Dead at this point for me.
Ah!
Whoa!
That's
Ah!
yeah. I mean, I would put it up there for sure.
Maybe.
All right. So here's a couple of things that you need to be aware of. Is like it's quite complex, so it's kind of hard to get into for a lot of people. Like there's still tutorials. Like you can go into like the 4th area, which is Frontier Village, and you're still learning different mechanics of this game.
Yeah.
So it's quite complex and it's quite complicated. Like there's a situation where Noah had this criticism where it's like you have to use shock a lot, like every single game. You can't play.
Oh
as
yeah,
much
with
without
the
shock.
you need the Monado arts.
Yeah, you need the
Yeah, when you're fighting certain enemies, yeah, you do. But later on, you do get some equipment and weapons that others can fight against them. But
that's what I was
the
gonna say.
mechons. Yeah,
I would
thing-
argue against him because like there are other skills that you can do like topple or like use Melia if necessary. But
they
there's
are
still a high
alternatives,
ceiling.
but you generally want
Yeah,
Shulk if you want to have a much easier time.
And a third thing.
But he is the
sorry.
main character, so it's kind of
Yeah,
whatever.
sorry. Just one last thing. Side quests are incredibly fucking.
Oh yeah, I was
difficult
just about to say that.
Yeah, that's the
It's
biggest.
so hard
that's,
to track.
That's the biggest one. Yeah.
It's so
And they can be a lot of repetitive of like find the thing, but like there's no like clear indicators on like collecting what you're collecting.
But to go against that, there are also some side quests that have their own like unique backstory going on, which
No,
is
yeah,
amazing.
that's what I
the
was gonna
quests
say.
themselves, like they're generally pretty good. It's just tracking them is so difficult.
Yeah.
Like that whole menu system is real. It's inadequate.
It can be hard, yeah.
It's not. Yeah.
But like the more I think about it, because at first I don't know where I'm thinking like either above or below Ocarina, basically is sort of where I'm looking at right now. Like maybe I could go higher, maybe I could go lower. But like it has the things that like I prioritize in a JRPG. Like the cast is incredible. Just the scenario, right? Just Bionis and Mechonis and the Monado and the future site and where that goes and everything else. And that like it has all these weird twists and turns, but it never loses you, right? Because JRPGs are famous for sometimes going off into like everyone's a god now and who are these people? But like
It was all part of a video game.
Yeah. But like at the core, because you care so much about these characters, because their relationships feel genuine, all the insanity only feels like an escalation for these characters that you care about, right? Like Melee is one of my favorite characters in any video game. Everything that involves her breaks my heart from beginning to end. I'm just like, oh god, I feel so bad for you. Like it, I love it. So the parts that I prioritize in a JRPG, Xenoblade excels at in such a strong way that I mean, also like all the party members are unique in their gameplay, right? Like they sort of, and just the exploration is so enjoyable. I would maybe put it above Ocarina, I think. Yeah.
Okay, I'm good with that. Ocarina above Ocarina, that's fine. Anyone else?
I'm good with that too.
Yeah.
Just don't know if
mean,
guys don't want to go higher, huh?
Well, I haven't played Red Dead Redemption yet, so
I could go either way.
I mean,
to
I
be
would
honest
put
with
it
you.
up there, but
Like I could place it anywhere that isn't number 2 or 1. Anywhere there.
Well, thanks.
For worth my 2 cents, I wouldn't put it above Red Dead, but I also didn't play the game a lot. But I mean, I feel like from what I played, I would put it above Ocarina of Time. But I hold Red Dead in such a high regard that I don't think I would personally.
I feel like Ocarina of Time is too high.
I thank you. I've been fucking saying that forever.
I don't know. I think
We need to re-rank that bitch.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, I think I'm generally fine with it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if and when we re-rank. But I think with Red Dead, I think that like both of them are great, big, huge open worlds, obviously. But I think that there was genuinely moments in Xenoblade where I would sort of feel like, especially with like collecting and with all that stuff, like 100%ing it can feel like a slog in some moments in a big way that I didn't feel
It
when
is
I
a
was
fucking
100%.
slog. You have no idea the shit I had to go
100%ing
through.
arguments though.
I don't know. Well, no, but I mean, I'm just like I felt driven to beat both games because I like them very much and they're both high up here. But like I think I enjoyed pretty much all aspects of Red Dead, where there were some aspects of Xenoblade 2 where I was like, I'm meh on them, but I the parts of Xenoblade that I do love, I love so much that I still would put it in the top 5.
All right, yeah. I mean, I'm happy that it's either above or below Red Dead. I don't mind.
Okay.
Yeah. It sounds like we're going below Red Dead, so yeah, sure. Sounds good.
So there it goes.
So,
that was normally when we get to the top 10, it can get feisty. This was very congenial. It was just everyone likes the game and wants to.
I mean,
wish
this
it
game
well.
is amazing. Everybody knows it.
That's
It
true.
is.
I mean, with even with Xenoblade, not Xenoblade, Splatoon 2. I mean, I don't think we really had too much of an argument. At least I can't remember.
Yeah. Look at us.
I was just worried the whole time.
Well, that is the list. That is the podcast for this week. Brandon, because you didn't have the chance to engage as much on the list, you, I think, deserve the final phrase.
Right.
But while you think on that, of course, twitch.tv/jumpupsupercast.
You could have followed our list by looking at the pace.
Oh yeah.
Dang it! I just threw my pen across the room. I'm so mad. That is twitch.tv/jumpupsupercast, twitter.com/jumpupsupercast, where we post about all of our episodes when they go live, including the Jump Up Supercast Game Club, which we did an episode of last week talking about the Mark of Kree for the PlayStation 2.
It was unfairly maligned.
Well, maybe. If you want to listen to a contentious list portion, that's the one to look for. But that is, of course, other places you can find us. Instagram.com/JumpUpSupercast. Facebook.com/JumpUpSupercast. Heck, we're on all the platforms except for the ones that we're not on. That is the podcast. I want to thank you all for listening. And now, Brandon, the final phrase.
If you have not yet, why don't you go down the street to your local retail store, purchase yourself a Nintendo Switch, because it is incredible. Lots of good games out already. Super Smash Bros. Just came out, and there's all sorts of games coming down the line, still coming out. 2019, looking like it's going to be a great year. Hashtag not an ad. Hashtag could be an ad. You can pay us Nintendo. We will, continue to do more stuff like this if you give us money.
Get that show game on point, man.